everyone, Sharon here. How are you from Farm Gardener? It's summer here on our farm in the Hunter Valley, New South Wales, and today I'm just doing a bit of cleaning up on our bank, which I thought might be good to show you our bank garden. So just on our bank garden, we've created a little raised garden here, which has been really good just to get the levels. So we've got two flat levels in the garden. I call this my wedding cake garden because it kind of reminds me of a wedding cake, but it actually is really lovely because people can use the treated pine to actually sit in the garden as well, which is really nice. And I've got a row of buxus hedge in front of some roses. This variety is called Incienta, so it's really pretty. It's just finished its flush of colour actually, so I did come in last week and I've pruned a fair bit of the old flowers, but it's just massed in like a white carpet of flowers when it does flower, which is quite lovely. But yeah, I thought I'd share this little garden with you because it's quite a good idea. We've tiered it so it's got treated pine, and then we've got a rock wall, and then on top of the rock wall another treated pine wall as well. So but it works really well. Then up on this level I've got some wisteria on an arbor, and I've got some Banksia rose in the white as well that I've just planted, so hopefully that'll give a pretty backdrop. And then on the shed there I've got climbing roses. So I've got a rose called Quicksilver, which is a beautiful purple. I'll show you down in the other area that rose, but it's actually a really lovely purple climbing rose. And I think I've got one up there called Bathsheba, which is a David Austin climbing rose in like a peach colour, so the peach and purple look lovely together. Then I've got, where Jess is, I've got a hedge there of verbena, which is just starting to grow now, so I'm hoping I'll get that to flower. And I've planted a couple of other snowball bushes there as well. But as I said, with the roses, because it's quite windy here, I've planted a row of, which we've just pruned last week, of maybush. So last spring it was absolutely lovely. So, but I've just noticed one of my icebergs there. I need to pin that back up to the stake because it will snap. So, but yeah, so that's sort of this garden here, but I've got it kind of on the bank. Planted, I'll show you the other side, but it's planted with a lot of drought tolerant plants because here we are zone 9 in the US zoning. It's very hot, arid. We can often have heavy rain and then we'll go quite some time without rain, so the plants have to be very resilient. If that's anything if you're starting a garden out, the one bit of advice that I would give is to go for a drive around your area and see what grows well. So when we bought this house, there was a couple of roses that were here from the existing farm, which was about 40 years old, and they were growing with no attendance or love, so we knew that roses would grow well here. So we've probably got over 200 roses around the gardens here at Applegum. So but I'll show you the bank actually. So this is my bank garden. I've just been in and pruned it back. So I've got lavender in here, Italian, French, some purple fountain grass, which you can sort of see, and some natives, and tibucinas grow really well on this bank as well. They flower in a purple. You can get a new variety which is white, which I do have here. And really the main thing that I'm trying to do with this bank garden is to plant it so that it provides a bit of privacy and screening. Not that we look onto anyone, but it's just nice to have this as like a little room garden. That's what I'm trying to achieve here. Gives a bit of a windbreak too for the roses, so it does get very windy here, being that we're sort of in the valley of the mountain, and that's the Watagan mountain range here. And so just providing that little bit of protection for the roses with a windbreak has been good and it's working. So, but it's just a matter of pruning things back. I unfortunately let the lavender go a bit woody, so just wanting to prune those back now. This is one of the Tibercinas that I was talking about. This one's called, this is a beautiful white that I put in. They've probably been in for about 6 months, but they're doing really well. So this is a Lasiandra. Hi Jess. It's called Peace Baby. So I've actually got 3 of them here and they're doing quite well. I did have a branch come down on one of them and it snapped them off. Don't mind the weeds here. It's a farm, so it's pretty hard to keep everything under control, but it's quite a lovely little compact Tibercina, so, or Lasiandra. So that one there's called Peace Baby. The other ones that I have on the bank are the purple, so they're Austinville and Jules, which is Jules is the smaller one, and then I've just got some azaleas in here. So this one's called Alphonse Anderson, so it's a pink. That one was supposed to be the same colour, but it's actually a white. But I think it's the same variety, but it's just the white. This one here, it's probably on the end of its flower, but that's the, this is the, sorry for shaking, this is the Quicksilver. So this is the climbing purple that I've got. Now I've got this rose around the property. I just love it. It's got like that vintage sort of colour to it, so for weddings it's quite lovely. This plant is a Weigelia that I've got in the cattle yard, which is growing really nice. I do prune it back quite hard each season, so after it's flowered I will cut this back, but it's really quite pretty, so it's growing quite well. It's obviously liking its spot here. It's sort of a semi-shady spot. Then I've got over here, I have a new, over in Australia, I would love it if we had limelight hydrangeas, but we don't. But we do have this panicle variety which has just come to Australia, and it's called Sunday Phrase. It was from the description and photos that I've seen of it. It shows quite pink. I've got it in a semi-shaded spot here. Even though panicle hydrangeas are more drought tolerant, I was a little bit worried about putting it in full sun. So I've put these under the tree here, which they probably at least get, I would say, 4 hours of sun a day, but it is filtered sort of sun. They're happy, but they're just probably not going the colour that I was thinking that they would. This one's probably got a hint of pink to it. So this is their first year. This one's just about to flower as well. So they're obviously liking it here, but just the colour. But I'm happy with the white, so that's okay. But anyway, down the track I might try one further in the sun just to see if it can cope with the sunlight here. And then I've got some butterfly bush and lavender. So everything that I plant has to be sort of drought tolerant. As I said, I've got the Quicksilver roses that are growing along here. And then I've got Diamond Frost Euphorbia, which is, I had that in a pot, and then when I decided to change the pot out, I've put it into the garden, which is what I often do. And rose that I've grown along the old cattle crush. So what I'm trying to do, my thought process with it is I would like to grow them all over those arches, which was the old cattle crush. So it's going well, but however, the horses seem to like to eat them. So I have moved the horses out into another paddock at the moment, so I'm hoping that will give me a chance to grow them back over. I've got butterfly bush too, which I really love, so it sort of moves in the wind, which is lovely. But this is probably a good example of the colour. So because they've finished a while ago, but it's just that really pretty sort of mauvey, like a vintage purple. So it's really lovely. So being that we have the weddings here, it's just a really pretty colour. And the Weigelia is kind of in a similar shade. Where's one of those? Yeah, so you can sort of see that mauvey sort of pink colour. So yeah, when they're in flower, they're really pretty. But yeah, that's my intentions. There's always something going on at the farm. Rob's servicing the excavator at the moment. The horses have come up for a drink from the dam, and Mia. Oh, no, Red. Gonna go for a swim? You're gonna go for a swim? Don't chase the horse. Oh, look. He loves the water. He was naughty boys, wasn't he, chasing you? He was a naughty boy. They're pretty used to him. He's pretty good. He just kind of chases them a little bit, but he's only a puppy, so we're just trying to sort of be patient and tell him that no, he shouldn't be doing that. Did you go for a swim, Red? Going in the water? Oh, you love the water, don't you? Good boy. Good boy. He loves it. You gonna come out? Ready? What's he doing? And there's our three horses. So Bellamy, Ben is my horse in the middle, and then we've got Socks. So there's three. Our three horses, three of them. Hey, was that nice, Reddy? What a good boy. Gonna go for another swim? Oh, good boy. Come on, let's go do some gardening. Come on. Good boy. Where's Daddy? Where's Daddy? Where's Daddy gone? Here comes Rob. Here's Farmer Rob. This is I call it my tropical garden, but it's just got a mix of yuccas. I know a lot of people, some people don't like yuccas, but in this garden they've done so well. They give us good privacy for the barn, but also provide a sound break. But they're just so lush and green, and they don't take a lot of water, which is great. And we've got a variety of agave. I have got a Japanese box around the edge. I am trying to grow that further down. And then other types of succulents as well. So I've got Monstera in there. I've got a ponytail plant, elephant's ear, mother-in-law's tongue. I have got a couple of jacarandas coming up that have self-seeded from this one here. Bird's nest, which is here. I like the red of the big red geraniums. They're always pretty and they do well here. I'm just getting into now growing the succulents. I've got a broken pot here, so I've just put some succulents in there. But I've got bromeliads. So my mum's actually coming today. Her name's Janine. She's coming to bring me some bromeliads, which I'm really excited about. So the last time she came, so I get my love of gardening from my mum and my grandmother. They're both, well, my grandmother has since passed, but she was a lovely gardener. So was my grandfather. And but my mum and we spend a lot of time in the garden here together. So when she comes, but I've got some standard gardenias there that are doing really well with some white balsams underneath. It's interesting actually, because this is a prime example of where if you have irrigation in place, you can see the difference. So this one here has irrigation in the pot. So what they were, so on the farm I tend to try and use things that I've got. So that was actually an old pool filter that we replaced. So they've made really great pots because they're quite deep and they're round, which is great. But this one is on irrigation, so it's doing really well. This one here, you can see it's still okay. I'll just move this compressor cable off it. That's not great. But it's not growing. It's nowhere near. I've got some hippeastrums down there, lilies as well, but you can see I've got a couple of hibiscus in here as well. My sister-in-law bought me this one. It's just about to flower now, but it's a beautiful pink red and it's a double, so it's really pretty. So I'm really looking forward. That one's more a single red and it has more the orange tonings, but this one here has more. So this hedge here I've got in my garden, hi Red, is a hedge that these trees here, they're maples. So I moved them from our driveway. So we do have a lot of October Glory maples. They are really pretty and they colour up well in the autumn or your fall. I've got them underplanted with another type of hawthorn. So that's called Oriental Pearl. So it's actually quite a pretty hedge because it does flower. I've also got another hawthorn here that I mentioned before, which is called Snow Maiden. And I just like to have the white petunias at the door as well, just to give a bit of colour with the, I like the under leaves of the little gem magnolias. These are growing really well. So these are about 3 years old now. So they were only in probably gallon pots when I put them in, so they're doing really well. This is a frangipani and I think it's called fruit salad. My mum lives on the beach, so as I said, we're in a warm temperate environment here, so we can grow quite tropical plants. And I like to grow a mix, as I've shown you in my other garden that I call the tropical garden. I've got a couple of frangipanis here. Now this one, if ever you want to take a cutting of a frangipani, what you need to do, this is just a tip, these are all, frangipanis are quite dear to buy. So if you can find someone that has one, and when they're ready to prune, let them know that you would be interested in getting a pruning. So if you were to take a branch off here, so say this branch here, if you were to follow this branch down and even take this branch here off, what you would do is just throw the branch into the garden. And I would say you could leave it there for a couple of weeks. I would say at least a couple of weeks. Just throw it on the ground in the garden. Don't put it in soil, just leave it on the top. What you need to do is dry the end of the frangipani stem. So when you cut a frangipani stem, it will bleed sort of white sap. So what you're doing is you're drying that sap off. So once you've dried that, then you can put it into a potting mix. And they're actually pretty easy to strike. So, but if I can give you that one tip, that you need to dry the end, that makes such a big difference to the success you'll have with frangipanis if you're growing them. But this one here, I'm loving the shape now because I just wanted to hide the water tank for the barn, which it's doing a great job. It does two things for the water tank, keeps the sun off it as well, so it keeps the water cool if you can sort of protect you. And then I've got some red robin Photinia there as well, so I'm just pruning those. And then I've got a oak leaf hydrangea, so that I put in last year. It's growing really well, so it's finished now. So the blooms have gone like a rusty colour. It does fall colour up with some fall colour as well, so it's quite lovely. Down here is called Bordeaux, so it's absolutely a beautiful rose. If you can get this variety, if you come across it, I highly recommend it. It is a red, but it's not a tomato red. It's more a in the chartreuse sort of rose. So it kind of starts out more a red, and then as it ages, it has more of that crimson colour to it. If that if I'm hopefully explaining it right. But what I'll do is I'll put a photo of it up when this row of roses is in bloom. It's highly perfumed, so we've got it actually down our pathway to the house, and it's just an absolute... Well, thanks everyone for watching my garden video today. I hope you enjoyed the little bit I've shown you of my garden. Hopefully I'll post some more videos of the garden and the farm, just a mix of things that we do here. As I said, there's nothing, it's very casual here, so I love my gardening, but there's also a lot of farming that we do, so I'll probably share that with you as well. My husband Rob and I run the farm here, as I said, and we have Angus cattle. So hope you enjoyed the video today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.